We see if it works. This is a song from, I think it's from Blue Jays, with the guys from Providence that played on it as well. Anyway. First love of mine, if you could see, you reach out for me, hallways and in secret doorways, where love's hiding places with nowhere to go. Goodbye to the fields and byways, I remember saying, I don't want to leave, 'cause you were all there was to know about me. Somewhere in this crazy island, a familiar stranger sleeps so far away. But wonder in the eyes of children, and the smile of fortune helps the memory fade. 'Cause you were all there was to about me. Who are you now? A mildly amusing story about that kind of stuff, because I was lucky enough to have a few girlfriends when I was a kid, and one then when I was younger, and this one particular girl, I always really, she was so sexy and so great, you know, so cute. And like all of us, I always used to think, I wonder what happened, I wonder where she was. And then you know, because the life just took me away. I left home real early on. And then I had a friend of mine who worked at Threshold, actually, and I was asked to do a radio show down in the east of England. And they said to me, you remember, I'm not going to give her name, but you remember so-and-so? I said, of course I do. She said she works in the AA office down there now, in this place, you know, in Eastern. I said, oh, that's interesting. So, and he said, we're going down there. I mentioned it only because we're going down there to do the local radio station. So I said, oh, right. So I got there early for this radio station. I thought, I'll go down to the AA office and stick my head in and say, hi. That's exactly what I did. And I walked in, and there she was at the desk, and at her desk, sort of writing, looking very smart and businesslike. And I walked up, and you know, hi. And she looked up slowly.
Can I help you?
You said, you asked, what are you doing here? Get out of here! How dare you just walk on me like that? So, quite right, that's what happened. You can never go home. Yeah.
Okay, I'm still
Where
here
are
on
you?
your right.
Oh, yeah.
You recently posted a video a couple months back, and with the string quartet.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's great.
I emailed you about it, and you told me about it, and
Right.
just got me thinking.
Yeah. I did
well,
two actually. I didn't do two videos, but I did two tracks with them. Yeah, the string quartet with the girls and that.
Yeah, that's
It was
what I
great.
was wondering. I mean, is that something you would like to do more of? Reimagine and reinvent some of your songs?
Well, it was nice and it worked, and there was a couple of people from the conservatoire in Genoa, and Danilo and Alberto, they were working with the girl, I think they're called Euphoria or something like that. They're four girls who do an act with a string session, string quartet. And they're great girls, very funny, very sexy, very naughty, and but mostly very funny, but not much English, but we communicated okay. And so it was just a group of us. As Alberto really said, you know, why don't we do something? Because they'd been in the studio doing something with him, and so we did, and we turned out a couple of things. And there's one more thing to come out, maybe more. I got one, and then. One that really did work, and then a third one that really didn't, you know, kind of thing. Okay. Something's worked, something's done. The story in your eyes you're talking about,
yes,
right? The story in your eyes, the thing, yeah, and that was nice. And then there was a guy at the studio one day called Marzio, and he was doing working on a television commercial with Alberto, and we were talking, and that song was Alberto was doing something at the mix. He said, "Oh, that's great." He said, "You'll do a video of that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "There's an old house on the hill in Genoa that they've turned into a museum that this guy lived in, who was an old sea captain and collected all this old maritime stuff, because Genoa, as you know, was a very important port in the Mediterranean." And he said, "I've got the run of the house if you want to do it and do something." So we went up to the house one day and had some fun, and we filmed that thing. It's quite interesting if anybody wants to have a look. You can find it on Vimeo probably now more than YouTube.
And it's also on the Moody Blues website, and I believe
oh, is it?
Website.
Yeah, the link went down because YouTube, you know, they changed their format. So, but you just Google it and you'll find it.
And real quick, sticking with videos, you were recently surprised. You had no idea that Glenn Campbell did Question in 1983.
Oh, that's right. No, that was really quite emotional. Yeah, somebody sent me a link to Glenn doing that, and I thought he did it really, really well. You know, there's some not so good cover versions, but Glenn's got such a lovely, lovely voice, and I know Jimmy Webb also, and as a friend or acquaintance, and so I was very pleased that Glenn did that. I don't know whether he ever recorded it, but it was on a television show.
Yeah, it was on his TV show.
Yeah. What a voice, though. What a lovely voice. Wichita Lineman, you know, come on. Just great.
And this young lady has a question for you.
Yes. Hello there, how are you?
I'm great.
Always lovely to see you.
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
You know, there are a number of other bands that have been taking their iconic full albums and performing them on the stage.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, I mean, Moving Mountains was one of those of yours that a lot of people like, yes. And, you know, I mean, you have plenty of wonderful albums. I was wondering whether you might be thinking ever of doing a whole album or an album side, if you will. Or with regard to the Moody's, you know, Days of Future Past, you know, the Zombies did their Odyssey and Oracle as just the second half of a recent concert series.
Yeah. You don't think we haven't thought about it? Or I haven't thought about it?
Well, why
We'll
not?
see. I don't know.
What do you think when you're approached to do that?
Don't make the plan before you do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's my rule of life, is to never say what you're going to, and then you're really putting yourself under pressure,
Yeah.
you know, to do that. And I learnt in those first 7 albums that shouldn't be under that kind of pressure. It should always be a pleasure. And then when you have the substance and the body of it and and the work, then you make a plan about how it's going to be revealed.
And as
That's the nicest way of a present, isn't it? It's like giving somebody a present and saying, there's a present, there's nothing in it. No, but there will be. There will be. I'm really working on this. There will be something inside it.
So
about 6 months a year.
We are to stay tuned, so that's good. And as we wind down, I want to go back. This is a great story you've always told about War of the Worlds and getting that that tape to listen to the song, and how your employee at Threshold said, you know, you should do that song. What was it about the song that you're about to do that you actually weren't so sure about?
Well, it wasn't a great demo. The demo that that Jeff Wayne sent round to me, and I wasn't doing other people's material. And this is a song written by Gary Osborne and Paul Vigrass and Jeff Wayne. And so I just hadn't done anybody else's material, you know, since I was working in folk clubs. So that's the only thing, and so it didn't have that going for it. It had no positive points going for it, you know, before. And then it was only this kid who worked at the record shop was around the house one day and brought a cup of tea into the lounge, and when he finished playing, he said, "You ought to do that." And I said, "You think?" And he said, "Yeah, you ought to do that. It's a great song." He said, "It's just right for you." So I did. And actually, now lots of other people have done it since, and lots of other people have been in the stage show. And as a matter of fact, it's on in the West End. I think it's at the Dominion Theatre now in the West End of London, the War of the Worlds show.
And so after he told
They
you
did
that,
ask me to do this, the last tour that they did, but it was time for me to pass on that.
and when he did tell you, you know, you should do it, how long did it take you to wrap your head around it and to actually put your touch on it? As you alluded to, that the demo wasn't great and stuff, and so what did it take for you to Justin Hayward it?
Well, literally 2 days later, I went down to the studio, and Jeff had got a track that he made of the song for me, putting it in my key and everything. You know, first he had to get me to say that I wanted to do it, and then he made the track, and which was part of the whole long thing. And so as soon as I got to, I was committed to doing it. By the time at home, the guy said, "You ought to do that." I said, "Yeah," I phoned Jeff. I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." He said, "Come down to Advision in a couple of days' time." It was just that quick. Yeah.
So will you do it?
Yeah. I hope so. It's again, Chris and I haven't quite got the right guitar, but never mind. That's not Chris's fault. Totally mine. Yeah. Here we go. The summer sun is fading as the year grows old, and darker days are drawing near. The winter winds will be much colder. Now you're not here. I watch the birds fly south across the autumn sky, and one by one they disappear. I wish that I was flying with them. Now you're not here. Like the sun through the trees, you came to love me. Like a leaf on a breeze, you blew away. mom's golden gown we used to kick our way. You always loved this time of year. Those fall leaves lie undisturbed now, 'cause you're not here. Sun through the trees, you came to love me. Like a leaf on a breeze, you blew away. A gentle rain falls softly on my weary eyes, as if to hide a lonely tear. My life will be forever autumn, 'cause you're not here. 'Cause you're not here. Much, boys and girls. Enjoy the rest of the day. Lots of love to you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
All the boys and girls.